think we're live. Just make sure we are live. Hello. Just looking into the chat, I can see. Hey, Dinesh. Hello, sir. Yusuf, Imran, Israel Sheikh. Hello. Who else have we got? Suman. Hi, Suman. Dimitri. Shahad. Clive. Welcome, Clive. Welcome, Richard. Hello, Minu. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kubestronaut 2025 campaign. Let's just give it maybe a couple of minutes for people to join. I can see Akhil, I can see Hari, Vishal, Ravi, Shafi, Vladimir. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. I know it's a vacation period and most of you might be on vacation, but we thought we should definitely get this going before the new year starts so we can just start the new year with a bang. So thank you so much for your participation. So let me just share my screen and let's get started. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. All right, I see more people joining in. I have Manjeet Singh, Rajneesh. Hello, Rajneesh. Welcome. Sinesio. Hello, Sinesio. Abhinav. Janelle. Welcome. Future Kubestronauts. Yes, Raphael. That's totally right. We have Mahendra Rao, Pierre. Welcome, Pierre from France. All right. So I think we have people coming in. It's about 3 minutes in, so let's get started. So first of all, thank you so much for your support, everyone. Thanks for joining in from different parts of the world. My name is Mumshad Manambeth, and we are here to kick off the Kubestronaut 2025 campaign. Now, before we get into the campaign details, I wanted to take a moment to share a little bit about why we're doing this in the first place. So very recently, we were at KubeCon India. So for those of you who are from India, you probably know that India hosted the first KubeCon ever in the region, and it was held at Delhi a few weeks back. And we were a silver sponsor there, and we had our team there. We got to meet a lot of you there. We got to meet, there were about 3,000 people who attended, and we got to meet a lot of our students. So you came to us and we had really good conversations. And one of the things, and in case you missed it, don't worry, because we're going to be at London in April, in the first week of April. And then we're also going to be at Hyderabad in August. That's the next KubeCon India is happening in Hyderabad in August. So we're going to be at both these events. So do remember to register and come visit us at our booth when you're there. Now, one of the things that happened during the event is that I got the opportunity to be at the stage with a bunch of a cluster of Kubestronauts, and it was very the conversation was very good, and it was I saw the energy in everyone, the enthusiasm in kind of achieving those certifications and putting on those blue jackets. So I wanted to I saw the thrill and the energy that people had. So I thought, why not next year make that one of our missions? So our our mission, one of the missions for next year, is really helping hundreds of Kubestronauts become Kubestronauts in 2025. So that's the reason we've kind of kicked off this campaign. So basically, this is a Become a Kubestronaut in 2025 with me campaign. And we're going to, the whole idea is for us to kind of bring together people who are pursuing the same goal into a single group, and to kind of help them learn together and achieve the goals together. So that's the whole idea. So we're going to have some Discord channels with support where we kind of encourage community, and then we're going to have some bi-weekly calls. We're going to have a leaderboard, as well as some progress tracking, the details of which I will share in a few minutes. Now, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. All right, so why join this program? One, learning together. One of the things that we have observed over the years is we've always been very big on community. We've brought people together, and the motivation that you kind of gain from each other learning together is really, really huge. So we wanted to really make sure we kind of help people get together and kind of pursue the goal together. During this, you could have a lot of peer-to-peer interaction. So you're exchanging ideas, you're solving problems for each other, and that way you're kind of gaining that diverse perspectives through discussions with the people who are like-minded. We also want to do a little bit of accountability. So for example, one of the challenges with some people are that when you start in fact, a challenge with all of us is that when you start on this journey and you kind of lose motivation over a period of time, we want to make sure we can do something to kind of help you stay motivated and get you back and kind of keep you accountable for tracking your goals. So we have some ideas around that, which I'll share in a bit. But kind of progress tracking and leaderboards and kind of fostering healthy competition is something that we want to give a shot at next year. And then we also want to make sure we kind of give you regular support and feedback. So that's the bi-weekly check-ins. And then we also want to make sure, like, we've always prioritized community building. Now, certifications. So why certifications? To me, certifications have always been very close to my heart. Every time I've been in the situations where I needed a job and I needed experience to find a job, but I've never had the opportunity to kind of work hands-on on that technology to have enough experience to get a job. So there's this kind of catch-22 situation where you're like, I need experience to find a job, but I don't have the job to build that experience. And so I think certifications kind of solve that problem partially, especially the Kubernetes certifications, because these certifications are hands-on and it requires you to spend as much time as you can on keyboard, gaining that hands-on experience. And I think that's something that sets the Kubernetes certifications apart from all of the other certifications that are out there. And so you're gaining like real hands-on experience working on Kubernetes by practicing, by preparing for these certifications. And beyond that, certifications are really a structured approach to learning. So it gives you a curriculum, a set of objectives, and then you have to basically follow that. So it does not kind of let you like learn a little bit and decide for yourself that you've learned enough, right? So there's a set of objectives that you have to learn. So that way it is a structured approach to learning. And one of the reasons I say that is because till date on Code Cloud, if you go to the Code Cloud website, you'll see a counter there that increments every time someone uses a lab. So in the past 5 years, we've provisioned over 25 million lab sessions. So that's like 25 million times someone's accessing the lab to gain that to gain hands-on experience. And if you kind of associate about 15 minutes or so as an average session time, then that's over 6 million hours of time that's spent on keyboard. And that's something that we're very proud of. So just really helping people like spend time on keyboard, practicing using our labs. That's real experience that people are gaining by working on the labs. So so some prerequisites. I think a basic understanding of Linux, containers, and Kubernetes is essential. So what we can do is when we start the cohort, we can come up with some kind of, over the next couple of weeks, we'll come up with some kind of questionnaires that you can kind of go through to understand where you stand. But if you have some basics of Linux containers and Kubernetes already, then you can then you're ready to start with the path that I'm going to share in a bit. But of course, other than the basic understanding of these topics, you want to make sure you have the willingness to learn, the grit and perseverance. So some of the certifications are a little tougher than the others. It really requires you to just dig in and stay committed. So of course, the grit and perseverance is going to help, and definitely a never give up attitude. Now, I do see questions coming in the chat, so keep them coming. And towards the end of the call, I'm going to go through and try and answer as many questions as I can. Cool. So just starting with the first cohort. So first of all, this is the first time we're doing this. So this is our pilot cohort, cohort 1. And this is kind of the plan that I've come up with. And I'll explain in a bit why this path over another. So if you follow this path, the first and kind of my recommendation would be to always aim for CKA in the beginning. So you have 3 months to do that. So January, February, March to crack the CKA. And then once you do that, in April, within a month or so, you can easily crack CKAD. And then you have May for KCNA. And then CKS is one if not the one of the, if not the most hardest one, right, of all. So I would say dedicate some time for that. So June, July, August, so 3 months for CKS. And then once you clear CKS, KCSA should be very easy. So another month for KCSA should be fine. So ideally by September, you should be able to complete all certifications, and you can have October, November, December towards the end, a little bit of buffer time. Now, this is what I would call as a little bit fast-paced. Of course, you can get faster. You can, of course, go at your own pace. But if you can do 5 certifications in about 9 to 10 months, that would be huge, right? And I would recommend this for those who have some experience, especially some sysadmin experience, some experience working with Linux and containers. For those, I would kind of recommend this. Now, one of the reasons I recommend starting with the CKA, because I know there can be a couple of different opinions about this. So I do have another path, but one of the things I just want to quickly share. So I'm going to share this with you eventually. This is what I call a Kubestronaut knowledge graph. So we're going to make it better and put it in a better interface and share this with you. But if you look at this, of course, like CKA, you can see it's extensive, exhaustive. So you learn a lot by doing the CKA. So if you are planning to be a Kubestronaut, you definitely have to do CKA at some point in time. So my recommendation would be to start with the CKA, because by completing CKA, you would have gained enough hands-on experience, enough overall experience, that all of the other certifications become very easy. So I just did a quick math here. This is just a rough one. So if you do CKA, then you automatically complete at least 70% of topics needed for CKAD. All you're left with is just 30% of topics, which don't necessarily need an entire month. So if you do CKA, you can ideally target to do CKAD in a couple of weeks. But let's just give it a month. If you do CKA and CKAD, you probably covered 65 to 70% of KCNA. And then you're just left with just a few additional topics for KCNA. And it's not a hands-on exam. So you should be able to do that in another month. The CKS, of course, is, for those of you who don't know, CKS requires you to have CKA. So there's that dependency. So you definitely have to do CKA before you do CKS. But the CKS is really, you probably cover, like if you do CKA, you probably cover 20% of CKS, but there's a lot more to learn in CKS, especially a lot of them on the security aspects. And then, yeah, if you do CKA, again, 20% of KCSA. But if you do CKS, then you cover probably a lot of KCSA. Right, so that's basically my recommendation. But if, let's say, you're not very confident to start with CKA, if you do not have that kind of hands-on experience, so you want to take things slow, then I would recommend starting with the KCNA, because it's a smaller, it's a theory-based exam. And here I've this path, the path number 2, is kind of the I would call a slightly slower or medium-paced path for those who need a little bit more time. So I would, in this path, my recommendation would be January to Feb, so 2 months for KCNA, and then March and April for CKAD, because comparatively, CKAD is easier than CKA. So if you really want to build a bit more hands-on experience, working hands-on, then I would recommend starting with the CKAD. So give it 2 months. And then once you're done with CKAD and KCNA, you would have a lot of leverage to do CKA. So, but you still need to spend 2 to 3 months for that. So that's CKA. And then you have August, September, October for CKS. And then finally November, KCSA in November. And then you have still a little bit of buffer time towards the end in December. Cool. So before I go ahead, let me just take a quick look at the questions in the chat. When you're coming to South Africa, absolutely, that's on my wish list. So I'll definitely try to make some time for that. I'm going to talk about the Core Cloud subscription in a bit. I do see some questions there. I think the best way to get people to work on tackle. So the course updates on CKS and CKA, I'm going to talk about that next. So that's my next slide. And I'm just trying to see any valid questions. So you already have CKA. Okay, so a couple of questions around what if you are already certified, right? So I would recommend, of course, if you already have CKA, just go for start continuing with the rest of the plan, which is CKAD and the remaining as you go. So if you're already certified on any of this, of course, you can feel free to skip them and go ahead with the remaining courses. If you've already started preparing for CKAD, again, continue to proceed that route. What you could do is you could do the CKAD first and then swap that with KCNA. So you do CKAD first and then CKA and then KCNA, or you could do CKAD, then do the KCNA and CKA. I mean, so if you're already starting with CKAD, I would say just swap these two, right? So aim for the CKAD in 2 months, and then from there, 2 months after, aim for CKA, and then you could continue with the remaining. Right. So I'm just going to continue with the remaining slides, and I'll come back and answer the remaining questions. So the CKS exam recently went through an update a couple of months back. So that's October 15th. So we actually took a little bit of time to update the course. So as of November 15th, or as of the end of November, our CKS courses are up to date, and our mock exams are up to date. So if you have taken the course and if you have found that some of the topics were not updated, just letting you know that the mock exams and other newer topics are up to date now. So you should take another look. For the CKA, just know that on January 15th, so that's about 15 to 20 days from now, the CKA exam is going to get updated. Now, as with all of the Kubernetes exams, there isn't going to be too much of a change, right? So there's probably 20% or 25% of the exam is going to change. When I say exam, I mean the topics that are part of the exam. So if you look at this, right, you'll be able to see that a lot of the topics are the same. So the concepts and everything are going to remain the same. The questions are also going to remain similar for the topics that are not changing. So as long as you're good with the underlying topic, and as long as you're comfortable working hands-on, you shouldn't have a problem there. But there are some newer topics that are added, like for example, there's Helm, there's Gateway API, there's dynamic volume provisioning. So there's some of these are going to be new, so you'll need to learn and work on that. So our plan is we've already started creating the new content for the new updates. So anytime from before Jan 30th, we would have the new topics uploaded to the course, and we will have the mock exams updated. So if your plan is to give the exam before the Jan 15th, if you're already on your way, then just go ahead and give it before January 15th. But if your plan is to give the exam after Jan 15th, then I would recommend waiting till we kind of update our courses and the mock exams and everything, and wait until at least until after Jan 30th before you actually aim for the exam. Now, if you're starting the 1st of Jan with the CKA, then there's nothing, then you don't have to wait, because the courses, the way that we're going to update the course is that we're just going to add the new topics in the respective sections. So 80% of the course would remain the same. We're just going to update certain sections. So there's no reason for you to not start. You should already start, and you should already try and complete as much as possible. But every time we make an update to the course, we'll send an announcement so you know what's been updated. If there is a new topic added to the course, you will see that on your course progress bar on CodeCloud, so you'll get an idea what's updated where. All right. So yeah, so just the TLDR on that is you don't have to wait before you start. And if you're giving the exam after Jan 15th, then just give it a couple of weeks more until we update the course, and then aim for giving the exam after that. Cool. So let me kind of break it down a little bit more. So what we're going to do is, for each course, we're going to set milestones for every 2 weeks. So here, this is the one for CKA. So we're going to start with CKA because that's kind of the recommended path in this list. So by Jan 15th, in the first 2 weeks, the goal is to complete at least the first 2 sections. So the introduction section is very easy, but the core concept section has everything about the basic concepts of Kubernetes, the pods, all of the basic resources, so pods, replicas as deployments, and other things. So, and have hands-on labs. So the goal for the first 2 weeks is to complete the first 2 sections. The goal by the end of January is to complete the 3 sections around scheduling, logging and monitoring, and application lifestyle management. And then we have by 15th of Feb, the goal is to complete cluster maintenance and security. The security section is a little bit more extensive, right? So I would say give that a little bit more time. So continue with security into through February. And the storage section is actually not that much. So by the end of Feb, you should be able to complete the security and storage sections. In March, begin with the networking install, design and install sections. The first 2 weeks of March, and then the last 2 weeks should be focused on troubleshooting and any other additional topics that are there, the lightning labs, the mock exams. So I would recommend I would recommend spending a little bit more time towards the end by the time you're ready to take the exam. So just giving you a high-level idea on how much time it's going to take. So the first 2 weeks of Jan, the topics are it's about 3.5 hours of video. So I'm just taking I've just added up all the duration of all the videos in these topics. So it's about 3.5 hours of video. The second week of the second half of Jan, about 4.5 hours. So it's anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, right? So the first 2 weeks of Feb, 3.5 hours. Last 2 weeks, about 2.5 hours. And then we have in March again, 5 hours of just videos, and towards the end there's about 1.5 hours of video. But that's just the video time. I'm just going to add some time for labs because you're going to be spending more time working on labs. So on average, our labs are about 15 to 30 minutes. The mock exams are 2 hours, but all of the other labs are usually 15 to 30 minutes. So I've just assigned about 10 to 12 hours of labs per 2 weeks. So if you're basically looking at like anywhere from 15 10 to 15 hours on every 2 weeks, right? So if you set aside like maybe an hour or two every day, or if you want to kind of do that over the weekend, we're basically looking at like 20 hours in 2 weeks. So that's just about, maybe 5 to 10 hours per week. And if you need a bit more time to practice, I would recommend adding more time to go through the labs. Cool. So that was for the first part. And then now we have for the second part, which is a KCNA. So KCNA is, of course, much simpler. So you should be able to do that in 2 months' time. So the first half of Jan, you focus on the Kubernetes fundamentals, the resources, and then second half, scheduling, security, and networking. First half of Feb, service mesh, storage, and cloud native architecture, and then second half of Feb, observability, application delivery, and mock exams. So again, I've split it into about 3.5 to 4.5 hours per 2 weeks, and then I've just added some time for labs. So there are, even though this exam is multiple choice question, but we still have labs, because I think ultimately that's the way how you're going to learn, right? So you do have to spend that time working on labs to really understand the concepts. And then we have the mock exams are really multiple choice questions, so that should help you set up for the exams. Cool. So that's kind of the milestone. So just so you know, for the next 2 weeks, for those of you who are starting the KCNA course, try to aim to complete at least the first 2 sections, which is Kubernetes fundamentals and resources. And for those who are starting with the CKA, by Jan 15th, try to complete the core concept section, and we'll check in again at that time. Cool. So on the tracking and progress side, we do have something interesting that we had been working on. So what we have is a leaderboard, which we will invite you once we start the cohort, maybe in the next couple of weeks or so. The leaderboard will kind of put you on the leaderboard and help you see how your peers are progressing through the cohort. So it kind of picks the overall progress from the Code Cloud Learning platform for the specific courses and lists you in the table. So if you have completed your course, you'll be in the completed section, and if you're certified, there would be a way where you can kind of upload your certificate and you would be part of the certified track. And then there's the overall progress, where you'll be able to see where you stand in the overall cohort compared to the others. So just a tool to kind of keep you motivated, give you an idea how you're doing compared to the everyone else in the cohort. Just a way that we've kind of gamified this whole cohort learning experience. Again, this is the first time we're doing, so expect an email from us in the next couple of weeks. And looking forward to your participation here. Now, other than the leaderboard, what we have are check-ins and support. So we've created a Discord group for all of you to kind of collaborate and have a chat with each other. And what we'll have these sessions every 2 weeks. So what we'll do is we'll kind of pick some of the topics that you find really hard. So you can just let us know in the group, and then we'll kind of try and have these discussions focused on some of those issues, some of those challenges that you're facing. We'll also use these sessions to celebrate achievements. So for those of you who've got certified, we'll give you a shout out during these sessions. I will also check in the progress with the leaderboard, and then we'll also help you set new milestones. So you can just take these dates out. We'll send it out as an email, so you have it in your calendar. But this is basically every alternate Thursdays, starting from 16th Jan. There's also this link to the Discord channel, which we will put it in the description below, or in the chat. So you should have should have it right now. Now, a quick note: when you join our Discord channel, during the initial joining phase, you will have an option to select your kind of interest. Now, do make sure that you select the Become a Kubestronaut in 2025 option. So then you'll be automatically added to that group. All right. Now, a quick note on code of conduct for the groups. Now, I know a lot of you have been part of our Slack channels and Discord channels in the past, so you're already aware of this. But I just want to take a minute to kind of call out some of these. So generally, we want to make sure we're respectful to each other when we have conversations. A lot of people in the channels a lot of us are beginners, so it's important to kind of respect the fact that people are starting out. They probably don't know some of the basics, and it's important to be kind of be kind and respectful to them. We want to encourage constructive discussion. So if you see issues, call those out. If you have challenges in running the labs, call those out. If you have challenges solving, questions, call those out, and we we can talk about that and solve them, and help you understand what might have gone wrong. Confidentiality matters. While you're on this channel, do not share your personal information, email, or anything with anyone else during in the channels. Certification. So because we are focusing on certification, I want to make sure there are some ethics that we follow. So do not discuss exam questions. That's strictly forbidden. Do not share exam questions. Always focus on concepts and learning. So if you get the concept right, if you get that hands-on experience right, if you do the labs, if you get the hours on the keyboard in, if you practice, you do not need to know the exam questions. So focus on concepts and learning. Ask smart questions, right? So you can ask like how does Kubernetes image, how does how does Kubernetes manage node failures, or what's the best way to structure a deployment? Or you can even ask like what's the best way to kind of go about your exam, but you cannot ask a specific question on the exam, like is this topic covered in the exam, is this question covered in the exam, is this how it is going to be asked? Those things are strictly restricted. And of course, you want to help each other learn, and we have a forum where you can search for a question before you ask. So if you go to codecloud.com/community, we have a Discord forum, and a lot of questions that you might be already asked. So it might be a good idea to just search for it once before you ask a question. Cool. So of course, just moving on to some tips to kind of go through this whole program. The most important thing that I would recommend is to aim to hit your milestones, right? So no matter what, try to finish that part of the course by the time that we have kind of allocated. The reason for that is even if you get stuck in certain areas, if you are not sure how, if you don't really fully understand a particular concept, don't get stuck. You can note things down and move forward, because sometimes you probably don't have kind of the enough knowledge around that concept to probably fully understand it. But when you go forward, you work on the labs more, you learn some other things, and then when you come back, you'll be able to relate that topic, because you have now gained that kind of knowledge around things, around other things that you probably didn't have before. So if you don't understand some things, note that down and skip and go forward, but then come back to it at a later point in time when you have a little bit more experience. But at the end of the day, just make sure you kind of hit the milestone, because the more milestones you hit, you get motivated yourself to just keep going. And of course, learn at your own pace. So if while we have kind of given this recommendation on the milestones, I would recommend you to kind of preload as much as you can, as early as you can, right? So if you have time, if you can go through it faster, feel free to go through it faster and try and attempt the certification faster. Engage in the community. So I think looking at one of the many ways that I learned in the beginning was really learning from my own students, right? Like if they have an issue, then I'm troubleshooting it, I'm trying to help them. I learn a lot by helping them, and I think that's true for everyone in the community too. Like if you look at other person's issues, and if you're trying to help them, that will kind of give you a different perspective on things and will help you learn more by yourself. We do have the Code Cloud AI in the lab, so feel free to use that. Definitely give that a shot. So if you are if you run into some issue, you're not able to figure it out, just ask the CodeCloud AI, because it is aware of your question, is aware of the system, it is aware of what you're doing, your attempt, and it can kind of combine that information and give you exactly what you did wrong. And then you have do not wait for perfection. So do not wait until you're like 100% confident to give the exam. Do not do that. If you're 80% confidence, take your first attempt. So you do have 2 attempts. I would highly recommend giving it the first shot as early as possible, as soon as you feel confident. So even if you're 80% there, I would say give it a shot. And of course, celebrate. We're going to celebrate your wins. So as you complete certifications, do let us know, and we're going to post that on our channels. Cool. So yeah, that's basically about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now. I'm going to go through the list of questions you've shared. But once again, I want to say thank you so much for showing up here. I think that's the most important thing. That's the big first step. And together we can definitely achieve. Together we can definitely become Kubestronaut. So. Cool. So I'm gonna pick the questions and answer them. So can we join the live classes if you don't have CodeCloud subscription? Yes, absolutely. So the CodeCloud subscription is a recommendation. There are 2 things. I mean, you're absolutely free to join our Discord channel and join the group and be part of this. The only thing the CodeCloud subscription is needed for is really to be part of the leaderboard and to have that experience, because it uses your course progress from CodeCloud. So I would recommend CodeCloud subscription for that, and for the other courses that we do not have elsewhere. For example, the KCSA course, the CKS, the KCNA are only available on CodeCloud. So even if you get a basic standard subscription, that should still be sufficient to go through the program. So yes, is it authorized to record and share on YouTube while we practice mock exams? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Don't think that's a problem. So yes, there's a suggestion. It would be good to have new topics together, selectable by labels. So we're definitely going to add it somewhere in the title that these are the new sections. So, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea to put it all together at the end. I think we did that in the past, but it kind of impacts the flow. So maybe we'll add it as new towards the end, and then eventually move it up to make it part of the different sections. So which certification is good to start? CKA, CKAD. So we mentioned that. I think either CKA. So one of our 2 of our recommended paths are CKA or KCNA. So I've kind of covered that here. So the first one is CKA, CKAD, KCNA, CKS, and KCSA, and the second one is KCNA, CKAD. I think there was also a question why KCSA is after CKS. Again, following my kind of idea of doing the hands-on part first, I would recommend doing the CKS. If you're doing both, then I would recommend doing the CKS first, because then the KCSA becomes easier. But if you want to do this easier one first, then I would say start with the KCSA and then do the CKS. So the link to the Kubestronaut channel, let's share that again. So it should be in the chat, but we will also send that again. And we'll also send you all an email. So once you've joined the program, I guess a lot of you have registered your interest in one of the communications we had sent in the past. So we're also going to send you an email to with the necessary links. So the courses on Udemy, yes, like whenever we update any course in CodeCloud, we also make sure we update them on Udemy. So wherever our courses are, we kind of make sure that they're always up to date. So when we update it on CodeCloud, those courses are also updated on Udemy. So the link to access leaderboard we'll send you. We're doing a beta test right now, but we'll send that in Discord once we are a little bit more confident, or we'll also send it to you through an email. So the expected time to be spent on each path, I've kind of, not the path, I don't have that right now, but the time is really given here in terms of months. So I've kind of listed that here. But within a course, I've kind of broken it down. What we'll do is we'll come up with a better list and a more comprehensive list and add it to the leaderboard so you can easily access that. So is the CKA course on CodeCloud enough for the exam? It should be. So we have a couple of things on CodeCloud. We have the base, the CKA course with the mock exams, but we also have another list of 10 different mock exams, which we call as the ultimate CKA mock exam series. So have a look at that too. And of course, there are other resources available on the internet as well, that if you need more practice, you can absolutely gain more practice on. Cool. So I think that's about it. I will definitely share the Excel sheet. So the metrics, right? The metrics, which is the list of what we call the Kubestronaut knowledge graph. We're going to send that out very soon. So yeah, we'll share that in the Discord channel. The discount for the Kubestronaut bundle, I believe there was available until a week back from Linux Foundation. I'm not sure if there's one now, but we can definitely find out. But every time there is one, they're on a sale, we do send it out. We do send out on our social media. So do make sure to follow us. Can I take CKA directly without KCNA? Yes, you can. There's no dependency there. So if you're confident, I would say that's the right path. You should go for the CKA directly. If we retake CKA exam after Jan 15th, will it have the new, okay, one of the questions is if you retake the exam on so if you retake the exam after Jan 15th, will it have the old or the new curriculum? Good question. So anything after Jan 15th, be it an existing exam, be it a new attempt or a retake, everything is going to be on the new format. So anything after Jan 15th, even if it's a retake, it'll be a new format. So the CKAD syllabus, is there going to be any change in the CKAD syllabus? I don't think there is. We're not aware of one at the moment, so I'm not sure. But usually they do once every year. So maybe there's something coming up later in the year. But yeah, from what I know as of now, we don't know if there's going to be one. I mean, there's nothing announced as of today. Cool. Just going through the recent questions. So is CodeCloud Engineer helping for the exam? So CodeCloud Engineer has a lot of like random tasks. So definitely it kind of helps you gain more practice. It's not exam specific. It'll just help you gain like a lot more like random practice, right? So that way it is helpful, but it is not specifically built for CKA or any of the particular exams. So question from Avijit, is I'm already CKA, so I will complete CKS and CKAD. May I be considered a Kubestronaut? Unfortunately, not. You have to have all the 5 certifications. So you have to have the CK, the KCNA, and the KCSA as well to be a Kubestronaut. But if you do CKA, CKS, and CKAD, you've done 90% of the work. The other 2 certifications should be an easy one for you. So that shouldn't be that hard. Yes. Is there a plan to update the CKA course in Code Cloud based on new format? Yes, absolutely. We're already working on it. You will see new topics come up in the course. Our goal is by the end of Jan to update the course with the new topics. So we'll already have the new topics, a bunch of new topics coming up by 15th. Our internal goal is to have it out by have it updated by 15th. But if not, we will definitely have it updated by January 30th. I'm having 1 year of work experience and I'm interested in doing CKA certification. So do I need to choose cohort path 1 or 2? So if you have 1 year of work experience, I would ask like how if you have experience actually working on hands-on on a system. Is that do you have experience working on Linux, Docker, Kubernetes? So depending on how comfortable you are with your hands-on skills, I would recommend either path 1 or path 2. So if you are confident with your hands-on skills, then I would recommend path 1 to start with the CKA. But if you're not very sure, then I would recommend starting with path 2, which is the KCNA. Can we get the Code Cloud subscription extended if we reach the top of the leaderboard? We can absolutely think about it. Maybe we'll come up with something fun along the way. So okay, so the program starts January 1st. In fact, it's already started, right? So as soon as you're part of the cohort, you're already there. So if you want to start early, obviously you can start right now. So I think you should already start if you have time. Start with the CKA courses and complete as much as you can as early as possible. Okay, just going through some of the other questions. So how can this program help someone who wants to transition his or her career completely to Kubernetes? A very good question. So I think, as I was saying in the beginning, one of the goals that I see for certification is that it can, one of the main things that it helps in is really transitioning career from another, kind of another space, another technology to Kubernetes. So one of the challenge people face when trying to transition, trying to move into Kubernetes is that they do not have the kind of experience working with Kubernetes. And one thing you can do is to show your potential employers or your potential manager that you're moving to that you have put in the effort to learn and get some hands-on experience working on Kubernetes. And I think that's where the certifications and these programs come in. So to me, that's the biggest advantage of going through and practicing for the certification. So what will the new format of the CKA exam? So I had kind of showed it here. Let me share my screen again. So as most of the as the updates, as usually the Kubernetes certifications get updated, They don't change a lot, right? But they do change maybe 20 to 30%. The questions change, but the 80% of the concepts don't change. They're usually, similar. So if your underlying concepts, if you're good with your underlying concepts, and if you have enough hands-on experience, you don't necessarily, you're not necessarily going to have a problem. So do not stop learning. If you have started your learning journey, continue to do that. There are some of these changes that are proposed, which is there's Helm going to be added. There's some concepts that are going to be removed. There is going to be network policies. There's going to be gateway APIs, so things like that. And we're working on updating the course with these new topics. So do not stop learning, because you're not going to lose anything by learning more. So just continue to do that, and as and where you are, when the course gets updated, we'll send out the information and you can learn the new topics. But ultimately, it's the concepts that you learn and the hands-on experience you gain that's going to help you clear the exam. So yes, another thing about the channels is currently we have a channel for CKA. We will have one for KCNA now, but as you complete each, we will have one for each of these. But as you complete each kind of each certification, we'll kind of move you to the new one. So we'll do that on Discord. So more questions coming in. So is the Cohort Lab sufficient for exams? Do we need any other external resources? So the Cohort Labs are built for to help you gain enough hands-on experience on those topics. And then so every lecture has labs following the lecture, and then at the end you also have mock exams. And we also have an ultimate mock exam series where you can gain more experience. And if you feel like you still need more, obviously there are other external resources available as well. So I would say you cannot get enough, right? Like you can gain as much knowledge as you can by learning from as many resources as you can. So if you'd like, I would absolutely recommend any other additional external resources as well to help you be more prepared. So all 5 certifications must be active to become a Kubestronaut. Yes, I think you need to. Yes, the certifications need to be active. I think so. I think yes, but I do want to I do want to confirm on that. But from my understanding, as of now, yes, they need to be valid. So just to help you understand the kind of the mode that we're going to be in, so the cohorts are kind of the groups that we're gonna learn together, right? So the cohort is about being in the Discord channels, being on the leaderboard, and kind of learning together. And we do have these weekly check-ins, but this is not a live KH training, just so you know, because there's a lot of topics to be covered. So we will pick certain, like the most in-demand topics on these sessions, and we'll try and cover those in these sessions. But this is not, just to be very clear, this is not a live training session. So can I do Lukman asks, can I do CKA and go ahead to do CKS? Absolutely. I think once you do CKA, if you want to go after CKS, absolutely you can. Then you just switch this up. So you would do CKA, and then you probably spend 2 to 3 months for CKS. But once you do both, you're basically covered for everything else, right? So you should be able to attempt all of the other 3 in just a month's time from each other, because by the time you complete CKA and CKS, you would have kind of covered almost 90% of everything you need for all of the exams. So that's also another path you could follow. So the leaderboard, for those of you who have, so the question is from Shankar is, how do you have the leaderboard updated when few people already have completed a few certifications? So if you complete a certification, you could, you'll be able to update the certification, upload the certification, and we'll kind of verify and put you in the certified list. So the leaderboard would have those who have been certified, a separate section for those who are certified. So, and then there's a separate section for those who have completed the course. So yeah, that'll be displayed. So Anish says, I met you at KubeCon, going to Kubestronaut before KubeCon Hyderabad. CKA was done. CKAD will be done in January. Awesome, great progress. Do join our cohort, and do stay there to help others out. But yeah, all the best, Anish, for your remaining certifications, and definitely looking forward to seeing you in Hyderabad. Yeah. So the questions from Jesus is, will CodeCloud offer any discounts or promotional codes for the purchase of all exams? So yes, we do have a code that would give you a discount on purchase of the exams. So it's code 20, so that's with a K. So you get 20% discount on all purchases that you make. And of course, whenever there are bigger purchase discounts that are happening, which they do usually during Cyber Monday week, which happened like a couple of weeks ago, unfortunately, that's when there are bigger discounts happening. But anytime there is a sale happening, we absolutely send out notifications to everyone. Cool. So there's a lot more questions. I'm going to try and pick as many as I can, but we have 3 more minutes. But again, once again, I just want to say thank you all for your participation. Really looking forward to seeing you all part of the cohort. And let's make sure we kind of help each other to break those hundreds of Kubestronauts mission that we have set for next year. So once again, thank you so much for your participation, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks from now. So that's on January 16th. We'll have another follow-up session. So do start with the courses, try and complete the first few sections, and we'll get back after 2 weeks, and we'll have another conversation. And if you, during that period, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them on our Discord channel, and we'll pick probably the most voted issue, and then we can kind of talk about that during these sessions. But yeah, once again, a lot of questions, so I'm very sorry I cannot answer all of them, but definitely do drop these in our Discord channel. Sorry, there's just one here really quick that I can pick. So would it be possible for you to activate subtitles? So Spanish subtitles on the next streams? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if it wasn't done this time, but yeah, if that's an option, we'll definitely do that. But yeah, thank you so much for everybody for your time. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in 2 weeks from now. Wish you all a very happy new year ahead. And once again, thank you so much for joining in. Right. Bye-bye.